Oh my gosh, just like Howard Stern came back from summer vacation, Tom Myers just came back from summer vacation. And I'm very excited about it. We start off, of course, with this monologue. It's a longer monologue than usual.
Is it AI? I want AI Tom Myers fucking monologue.
Oh shit, we could definitely do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
I will work on that. Yes, make a note. Okay. We have Tom Myers' AI voice already in our super tip system. All we got to do is get ChatGPT to write Tom Myers jokes.
Patrick Michaels super podcast.
Yes,
that's your AI.
Those two co-hosting a show together.
Oh, it's gonna be the longest joke ever.
This is my exit strategy right here. I never have to do a show again. This is great.
You're a workaholic. You can't help it.
I don't know. Not if these guys are doing it for me. So it starts off. The problem with this monologue, I'll spoil this right away, is that Tom wrote jokes about things that happened months ago because he's been off for so long. And the entire monologue is just references to things that like everyone's past that now. So it starts off with the debate, not the debate from last night, mind you. No, the Biden-Trump debate from, what was it, 2 months ago now? I don't even know. It seems like forever now.
It was the end of June.
Yeah. So it's so long ago. This is how he starts his show off.
Hello, and welcome to a new season of Tom Myers versus the rest of the world. Well, in case you haven't noticed, a lot has happened since we were last with you this past June. There was the debate between Biden and Trump on CNN, who called its debate between Biden and Trump two very different visions of our country's future. That's an understatement, considering Trump's vision has us all in dissident camps as gaudy as his golf clubs.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
Trump is going to have us all in dissident camps as gaudy as his golf clubs. Those two things don't connect in any single way. Dissident camps, I get. You know, it's like, oh, this guy's Hitler. He's going to throw you in the camp.
Sure.
And then it's going to be gaudy? Wouldn't it be like drab probably or something? He's going to spruce it up?
Yeah.
It's going to be like a casino, I guess?
Auschwitz, more like Wowschwitz. Look at this place. It's fucking great.
That's the first Yelp review. People are dying to get into this place. It's great. Why?
Do you know what I mean?
And why is God? I know. Hacka. And why are his golf clubs gaudy? Are golf clubs ever gaudy? Doesn't even make sense.
He has to throw in way too many fucking parts.
I know we had to mention it was on CNN. It's like, you don't, these details are unnecessary for a joke, Tom. We're not informing people of shit. You're writing a joke. It's a monologue. For Christ's sake.
That's what we like about Tom.
I know I say it every week, and I give Tom more advice to stop doing, but you're supposed to cut out the clutter. Like, you have to literally take your bit, each bit, you have to stop it every time you listen to it on a thing and go, ask it a question. Do I need to mention CNN?
Right.
Is it important to the joke? No, it's not. Okay, pull CNN out. Is gaudy a word? Do I know the word gaudy? No, I don't.
Are golf clubs ever gaudy? No, they're not. Yeah. Okay, it's okay. Moving on.
Am I saying dissident because I heard a Pearl Jam song from a long time ago and I want to use that in there? No, I don't. Then take it out.
All right. This joke I think you're going to appreciate, Pat, because you are a comic.
The debate was so panned that both Biden and Trump look like two ill-prepared comedians who lie and say, yeah, I can headline and do an hour. That's for the back of the room.
So that was a joke for comedians. That was for the back of the room. They're going to get that back there. Like, oh, yeah, I've been there. Guy thinks he can do an hour. Can't.
I mean, if you do tell yourself that those two guys are Chad Zumach and Ray DeVito, it's a good joke. Like, you know what I mean? I hate to say it.
Okay.
But they both would argue that they can do an hour. It's like, you can do an hour.
Yeah, no one's arguing that.
Does anyone want that hour?
No one's arguing you can stand on stage for an hour with a microphone in your hand.
Yeah. I could do a flip, but I'd also be paralyzed. Like, it's what I want to do.
But if he would have said Chad Zumach, then that would have been a better joke than it was.
Right.
All right, there's more jokes about this debate.
Of course, the media's reaction to the debate was...
And this is the other crazy thing about this. Not only is everyone past this and moved on, and there's different people running for president now, and everything's changed, these jokes are so bad, you'd think that this guy, Tom, would just be like, all right, I don't need to tell these jokes. We're past this. They're not that great. They're so bad, do you think it'd be very easy for him to just forget about them? and write new jokes for what's happening
He's
now.
a prolific joke witer and a monologue writer. Like you would write, you'd think you'd be so happy coming on vacation. You'd be watching everything to the point where you'd have all this new shit. And it feels like they went on vacation a day too early.
Yes.
And he was supposed to do all these. He's like, I can't get rid of these gems. And he's got to do it.
He writes a monologue every week on his show. And for whatever reason, during his vacation, the first week of vacation, he wrote a whole monologue. I was like, I'm holding on to this until September.
I have to ask a question here.
Sure.
What does Tom do for money?
Well, the last I knew, he was a host at a Mexican restaurant. I don't know if that's still the case.
I don't think it is.
Okay. What do you think he does for money?
No, I'm just saying, how can he afford to take the summer off?
Well, the podcast doesn't make him money. When I say
Well, that's
summer
what I'm saying.
off,
His comedy can't possibly make him money. What the
the
fuck
podcast
does he
doesn't
do?
make him money either. I don't know why he has seasons for this show.
Chris, it's screaming itself out loud. He's a teacher somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, you think so?
And he knows that if he does the Stuttering John thing where he does the opposite and he only works during the summer and then not when he's teaching, people will know he's a teacher.
Right.
So he
smart.
just takes that off. He saves up the money. It's not like he's buying more than one jacket that he wears in every fucking video. He's not spending any cash on writers or guests or anything. So he just holds it up and sits there in a basement and comes up with all the new things for the fall season.
I always wondered what teachers did. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Thanks, Pat.
Actually, I think Principal Uncertainty is onto it. His parents just give him pocket money. I think that's actually what happens. I think he gets an allowance. That's what's in. He
How
cleans
old is
his
Tom?
room. He's 30. I think he's 40 now.
No, shut up.
Yeah. He says like late
He's older
30s.
than that, right?
No.
Because he was around with Nick Mullen when Nick started and stuff. Like, I thought in those stories Nick would tell, it just felt like Tom was older. They were the same age.
He's probably older than Nick Mullen. How old is Nick Mullen at this point? He's probably 38.
In his 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. This guy
So
is.
he's got to be 50. So I'm 49. Tom's got to be older than me.
No, he's not. I promise you.
Oh my God.
I'll Google it. Let's see.
Wait, he's got time to get better? This is peak time?
Yeah, he's going to get better.
Yes, with your help, Pat.
Yes, you can still coach him. Pat.
Oh, Tom, if you'll let me be on the show next week, please let me be your Ed McMahon. Please. I won't shit on you. Let me be your Ed McMahon, please.
That would be awesome. All right, let's hear this one.
It's not going to happen.
Of course, the media's reaction to the debate was tone deaf, as is par for the course. In addition to the hour of coverage of Biden's grasp on reality hosted by Katie Tur, there was the coverage of Biden's age and mental acuity anchored by Andrea Mitchell. I don't want to say that Andrea Mitchell's coverage was disastrous, but it's bad when the anchor nods off on the air more than her target audience.
So the joke is that Andrea Mitchell is old, which is true.
This should be the show, though. It should be him telling the joke and then Carl explaining the joke. That would be
why he thought it
the
was
greatest
funny.
podcast.
Right, you're on the panel.
Yeah. I go, yeah, because Andrea Mitchell's old, right? So they probably fall asleep pretty easily.
Then the whole
It's
panel
like
laughs
a sign
again.
language it's a sign language interpreter, but
like
it's
when you
just
go
you
see
going, everyone, this is why it's funny. Oh, okay, thank you, Carl.
You go see a band, and there's like a rock band, and there's some sign language interpreter next to it. It's like, no one cares what the fucking lyrics are. Right. Why does this even exist? So I just looked it up. Tom Myers was born in January of 1983, which makes him 41 years old. Is that depressing?
Yeah.
What was that on? was that is there a restraining order next to it somewhere? It was like,
I got to give it to Google. That's their AI overview result for Tom Myers.
Tom Myers is a 41-year-old man not allowed near schools over 500 feet.
It says he's known for his roles in Tom Myers versus the Rest of the World 2020, Capital Comedy Connection 2011, and Schizophrenia 2012. We got to do a series where we just break down his specials. He's got a bunch of CDs out. We got to find them.
I remember the first time we talked about him on here, and then every one of your fans sent me a clip about that one, like, quote unquote, famous joke he has about smoking weed and going to the grocery store.
Bong
and
hit transplant.
Stop sending. They're like, yeah, you need to know the weed transplant.
The bong
I
hit
got weed
transplant.
transplant sent to me for 3 days. It wouldn't stop. My phone was flooded with weed transplant. And I was like, I go, it's not going to be funny, guys, no matter how much you send it. Like, no, it's funny now. I was like, it's not.
It does get funnier. It's one of those jokes that does get funnier because he always tells it the same way, too. Right. He's a pro like that.
Yeah, he sent me several clips. It wasn't the same clip. It's clips from all over.
He even says some purple drink. You know, he always like fills in all these details. The 41-year-old virgin. Yes, I believe that is correct. Principal Uncertainty. Okay. let's get back to this jokes
No, he
about.
fucks. Tom Myers fucks. Shut up, Principal Uncertainty. Tom Myers is swimming in puss. That's why he took the summer off. He was in the Cayman Islands with Angel Reese. They tied the show together, and they were fucking.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
This is back to the Biden's performance at the debate. Remember that, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Where that happened?
Biden blamed his debate performance on jet lag after travel for 2 weeks. I can relate. The last time I did a weekend in Tennessee, it took me 6 months to recover.
All right, I can't explain that one, Pat. You got anything for it?
No. Like, that would be a Vegas joke. Like, it'd be like a weekend was so crazy he would do it.
Right.
But, like, it's because he had to, like, Tennessee's, I guess, is stupid. Are they still stupid? That was the thing. Like, back in the day,
I don't
Tennessee
know.
was stupid. But
Okay.
I don't think it is now because Nashville's pretty popular and, like, I think it's a destination. His jokes are as outdated as this monologue. Like, it's like I'm waiting for like a Polish joke next. You know what I mean? It's like blondes are dumb, right?
Right, but no, it was about being jet lagged. And I guess Tennessee's very far to travel to or something.
But wait, where does he live?
He lives in Baltimore.
That's not far.
No, they're in Seattle. It's much farther. I mean, I'm not a
You can drive it.
geographical
Like,
genius. You're right. But, all right, let's here's some more jokes.
Of course, the validity of presidential debates has come into question in recent years. In fact, the only thing that debate accomplished is that it made me nostalgic for the days when our leaders told me it was okay to inject bleach.
An injecting bleach joke, Tom, in 2024. All right, this next joke. Let's
But
move
it's not that
past.
long ago. But again, Tom, if I'm gonna be nostalgic, he said bleach during COVID. It's within 4 years. It's like if you said, it makes you think of the times when they said black people are free. Like, okay, it's funny. It's a long fucking time ago. It's 4 years ago. Tom. Fucking Tom. Sorry.
Yeah, Tom doesn't understand how exaggeration works at all.
That's not nostalgia.
No, it's not. This next one, I don't think he understands what any of these things are that he's going to joke about.
No matter how you took in what you saw during the debate, it's uniquely American that we can all enjoy it in our own preferred way. For example, I take a lot of criticism for the way I enjoy my debate watching experience, but I say this. If my friends and I combining strip poker and a drinking game for various occurrences during the debate is an American, then I can't wait to welcome fascism this January and our new Russian overlords. That's a joke, of course. I'm sober. I used sparkling cider.
Okay. So the way he watches a debate is his friends and him combine strip poker and a drinking game.
Right.
Does he know what either of those things are? You don't play strip poker with your buddies.
No.
That's never done.
Well,
And then he says he uses sparkling cider.
yeah.
So he doesn't know how to drink a beverage.
Why did he tag it with that? How does that add to the joke?
He can't help but tag.
He loves tagging something with nonsense.
Tag man, tag of the episode, man. Did you get any of that? When an episode.
And the overlords are involved. It's
Right.
why can't he just talk?
He can't.
I don't understand why he can't just talk. Like, it's like, when I am sitting down and I am watching it, just say,
Right.
When I watch the debate, I would, I party, man. It's me and my friends. We're doing strip poker. I don't care if it's just dudes. We're wild that way. We're open-minded. We're getting crazy. We're drinking cider. We're fucking nuts. Not the hard kind. I'm not hard. They're not hard. Why should the cider be hard? You know what I mean? And then boom, it's like, I can't wait till the overlords come.
Punch it up,
coming.
punching it up,
Hey-o.
punching it up, punching it up. This guy is the fucking
Jesus
coach
Christ.
right here. That's how you
Just
do it.
talk. Just fucking talk, Tom.
No, that's a great point, Pat. It's something I haven't realized. When he writes his jokes down, he types them out, he writes them down, and then he reads them. When you read it back, does it sound conversational? Does it sound like a sentence you would say? It never does. He should go back and change it to make it sound like something that someone would say off the cuff. That's how comedy works. We're supposed to think that you just came up with that idea.
When I help out young comics all the time, they get scripted because they wrote something and they feel like it has to come out that way. And I'm like, okay, don't read it like the script. Like, if you're going to tell me you saw Deadpool and Wolverine, you wouldn't say, at first they come out scene one like this. You would tell me about it, make little jokes in between, make it fun. Relay your jokes, Tom. The podcast should be called Tom Myers versus the Punchline. That's what it should be called because he's never going to find it. The Punchline keeps winning.
The other thing, too, is he always comes up with the most absurd connections to things possible. There's so many things you can say. The way that I watch a debate is, now a drinking game, you could come up with some kind of angle there. Strip poker is not a TV event. No. No one gets together like, you want to come over and watch Monday Night Football and play strip poker? No, strip poker is just strip poker. It's not connected to television or other entertainment.
It shows an insecurity in his writing because he feels like he has to add something to it that's he thinks is edgy. Doesn't realize how gay it sounds.
Drinking game, strip poker, edgy shit.
Or it sounds like if AI tried to write a joke.
Yeah, by the way.
He's AI too. Tom Myers is not real.
Pat, you're scaring me.
Is Pat even real?
Well, I want him to be.
I don't know what's going on anymore. You're onto something, though. This is, if Pat said, or Pat, sorry, that was very mean.
No, that's fine. That's
if Tom
fine.
typed in, write a joke about the Biden-Trump debate.
Right.
This is
I
might be
feel like
that
Carl. I feel Carl created Tom Myers through AI to have something to talk about when people are like, just talk about John. He's like, nope, you're punished. Here's my AI Tom Myers stuff.
Yeah, possible.
Tom's jokes sound like your Patty Seacup's AI rap.
Right.
It started out making sense, and then it went off the rails.
What happened?
It still sounded like English, but barely.
But we couldn't tell what he was talking about.
Right.
All right, so let's get a little bit more recent in our events. I don't know if you guys know this, but there was an assassination attempt on Trump. And so a lot of people are making jokes about that right now. Let's see what he's got.
And then, of course, there was the Trump assassination attempt. For a while, it was the only story covered on all the news networks that weekend. As grim as the situation was, it did have one unintended benefit. It pushed the Hawk Tuah girl off trending on social media.
The benefit of the assassination attempt
Go on.
is that it pushed the Hawk Tuah girl.
And he said,
Hawk Tuah.
Hawk Tuah.
Hawk Tuah. Yeah. I guess that's the French version of her. Push the Hawk Tuah girl, if she's from New Orleans, that's how they pronounce it, off of trending social media.
But that's the whole punchline is how you pronounce her name. Like, her name is the punch. Like, you have to get it right. She's
Yes.
Hawk Tuah.
Right.
Like, you can't call her Hawk Tuah. Hawk Tuah sounds like a bird menage a trois. Like, you can't have that. It's Hawk Tuah is the joke.
I should mention, Hawk Tuah's podcast just landed this week. Her new show, Talk Tuah. There's an episode out. I'm sure we'll be checking in on that for sure. So yeah, even when he's trying to do these references, he has no idea what he's talking about. And this one, I got to say, I got to call Tom out for being a pussy on this one.
As a result of Trump getting shot, the head of the United States Secret Service resigned. I'd say it's an appropriate punishment for allowing a political rally to be less safe than a Ted Nugent concert.
Less safe than a Ted Nugent concert. Are Ted Nugent concerts known for mass shootings or assassination attempts? I mean, name a rapper, Tom. Grow a fucking pair. Name a rapper. Even the fucking country artist from Vegas would make more sense than that.
Well, not even that. Name somebody from the last 40 years. Like, Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent. All he knows is that I'm a Democrat and I hate Ted Nugent. So Ted Nugent concerts are bad.
Yeah, I don't think he's performing much anymore.
No, and if you do bring a gun to the Ted Nugent concert, he will beat you. Ted will beat you to it. He'll take you out before you can take anyone else out. So it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Like Travis Scott. Like, literally, it's right. Google for 1 second. People
Right.
got trounced. It's very simple.
It happens. Yes. Bad things happen at concerts, not Ted Nugent
the time.
concerts. No one knows about anything that happened bad. Fucking idiot.
He could have said Ozzy Osbourne and make more sense. It's like, holy shit. Everything has to be in his dumb little world.
Yep.
And like, you can't, Tom, sorry to look at you in the camera, Tom. You can't write jokes from your point of view. You have to write them so other people's point of view get it. It can't just be jokes to Tom's head.
Right.
Try and be
You're writing-
relatable.
Yes.
Right. Like,
Right.
it's almost like they have to know. And if not, instead of using all your fucking grandiose wordplay, fucking try explaining something first.
All right. Well, you're going to love this one. This is
God
great.
damn it, there's more.
Oh, yeah. This is more about the Trump assassination attempt.
If there's one person who has to feel inadequate about this, it must be George W. Bush. I believe he probably looked at that incident and went, what, all I got was a shoe?
Remember when that happened?
Yeah.
The guy threw a shoe at George W. Bush. It's a great reference.
You ever hear Nick DiPaolo's joke about that? It's one of the best jokes
What's
ever.
that?
He's like, they threw a shoe at a Bush, but they would never do that at Obama because he would just shine it.
That would be a Nick DiPaolo joke right there.
I opened for DiPaolo. He did that, and in the back of the room I was watching, and there was a couple watching, and the woman turns to the guy and goes, this guy is just racist. And the guy with a smile on his face goes, he's not just racist, he's so much more. It was my favorite reaction to a comic ever.
That's great.
Honey, don't sell him short.
Racism is just one of the things he brings to the table.
He's also homophobic, hon.
Yeah, that's hilarious. He's also very close-minded.
good.
You got to understand that.
Oh.
And set in his ways. All right. Let's hear the next one.
So as a result of the debate, Biden's support eroded so much that he eventually dropped out. In a rare moment of lucidity, shortly before Biden dropped out, Trump posted so many posts about Biden that he's like me when I go ahead and clean out all my social media draft posts.
Okay. Is that a thing? Social media draft posts? I'm not familiar with this. Do you have a bunch of tweets ready to go that you haven't tweeted yet?
Yeah, he doesn't send them. He writes them, and he's like, not yet, not yet. Not yet.
This is not a thing. And again, to your point about being relatable and telling things that people would understand, when I clear out my social media draft posts.
That wasn't a joke.
It wasn't even a joke. And the way he got to it, he stumbled all the way to it. It's like, yeah, we get it. Biden stepped down. You could have just been like, Biden stepped down. Instead, because of the pressure that was on Joe Biden, he decided to step aside and then let Harris run. Like, yeah, we know. Like, assume we know that part, Tom. We do.
Oh,
fuck.
Like, he's writing monologues, right? He does think of himself in the light of a Johnny Carson. I wouldn't say more update people. He's maybe Jay Leno is like the newest guy he's trying to be.
Yeah.
But those two never told jokes about Johnny Carson and Jay Leno. They told jokes about people were talking about and made that joke. Tiger King, like, shit like that. Like,
right.
That would be the punchline. Whatever thing you're watching, it would be that. It's like Bill Cosby, he can't go to sleep. Like, it would be something like that. Not, if I was Bill Cosby, I would put them to sleep with my drafts from my Facebook, not pills.
Right. You can't talk about your personal life as the punchline. Like, we don't know you, Tom. We don't know how much you're drafting posts for social media. We're not familiar with that.
Yeah, and if we loved you, we wouldn't be verse you because we're the world. Like, your whole show is like, we don't like you. Like, if it's Tom Myers loves the world, then I would get it. But Tom Myers hates all of you and is fighting you all the time. So then why would I know your point of view?
Yeah, you're not Ray Romano. It's not everybody loves Tom Myers. It's very different. It's the opposite.
It's everybody has no idea who Tom is. That's the sitcom.
I'm actually impressed that Google knew how old he was. That's amazing. All right.
It's a different Tom Myers.
That's why I read the credits out there too. I'm like, there's no way, but it did. All right. And props to Google for knowing that. It's amazing. Good service right there. The
41
service.
Looks like shit.
Well, it's never looked good.
This is the hottest Tom Myers has ever been, Chris. How dare you?
Yeah.
It's in his prime right now. Here's a joke that makes zero sense. And remember, this is a political show. So people who listen to it supposedly care about politics. That's how they talk about on there. So this makes no sense.
With the nomination of Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump complained about his new opponent and how his campaign wasted so much money going after Biden. I agree, considering that's money that could have been used to pay his legal fees.
That's not how campaign money works. Can't use it for legal fees. So, okay.
The legal fee thing is so old.
Yeah, I know everyone's past that. It's like that's done. We've moved on.
I can't wait for 6 weeks from now, the next time on this show, and then we finally cover like the jokes about eating animals.
Right.
About Donald Trump. Yeah, it's gonna be great 4 years from now.
I can't wait
to talk about that.
He talks about the first Harris-Trump debate in September of 2024. You guys remember that? Kind of? Remind us, Tom, what happened again? That's what I mean. All of this shit, if it was going to work, it would have worked weeks and months ago. And he felt the need to hold on to it and use this for his monologue for this episode. And that's, again, making it about him because he's the one going, I took the summer off. All right, assume I don't know anything about your show. I'm the first time listening to your show, and I just want to hear a political show with your hot takes. Why are we talking about the Biden debate? What are we doing? You ready for
okay, for example, and I hate to do this about myself, but I just recorded my 4th album, which is going to be coming out pretty soon. And I did a joke about when Stuttering John was making fun of me on YouTube, and I learned because I watched Tukey watch Stuttering John.
Yes.
I didn't just assume everyone knew who Tukey was and Stuttering John. I break down Stuttering John and what he used to be and what he is now. I talked about how the biggest break in my comedy career is sadly when I watched a puppet watch a retard watch me. But I had to break it all down so they would get it, so now they can laugh at Stuttering John. I didn't just yell out things about me and hope they knew.
So anyway, I you guys know me from Tukey, obviously, but let me tell you how that all happened.
You guys know Tukey, right? And he's friends with a potato, anyway.
And Tom should assume that every viewer or listener is new.
Yes.
Because no one's ever going to check back in again.
Yeah, it's not a serial podcast.
Right.
And he's a comic, so you're in different rooms all the time. You're in different states. So you walk into a room. You're walking into a room and doing a speech that no one knows what the topics are.
Yes.
You have to come in, and so if they don't laugh, it's because they didn't get the information. It didn't resonate. It didn't connect. He's got to give them the information. You do the trailer before you do the movie, and he doesn't do that. He just gives you the ending, and you're like, "What the fuck was the movie?"
Tom, or I keep calling you Tom. Pat, I have to correct you on one thing. You just said Tom is a comic.
Well, a lot of people use the name. It's very easy.
Yeah.
Comedy's easy. You go to an open mic, you write your name down on a list, and the comic. That's
good.
what happens there.
No, he definitely considers
John's
himself.
a comic.
Yeah.
Remember, Stuttering John's a comic and an actor and a musician, all those things.
Definitely considers himself one. All right, here's the final joke from his monologue.
Trump is still dismayed that he now faces Kamala Harris instead of Joe Biden, mainly because his campaign sees that the states in which he was leading are now actually competitive. Or to put this in terms relatable to anyone who may have joined us from Jeff's podcast, I can't believe Donald Trump blew a 6-state lead. And now on with the show. Please join me in welcoming Jeff Heisen, Gina Brown, and Polite Kitty.
All right. So he referenced Jeff Heisen's New York Mets podcast without explaining what that was. Everyone's supposed to understand what that is. Only I do. I'm the only one who knows Jeff Heisen's podcast.
Yeah, he just said Jeff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. It's like Jeff's podcast. Get it? All right. So one of the things I love to highlight on here is that when he goes to the panel, he starts off by asking the dumbest question you can ask 3 people on a show. How's everyone's summer? Or how's everyone doing? Or how was your week? It's like, how do you respond to that? There's 3 of us. What do you mean? But Jeff is always ready with a zinger. Jeff always has something prepared to say to Tom, and this is no exception today.
How was everyone's summer?
Tom, I'm so excited to be here. I was on a call with second gentleman Doug Emhoff, and I got off that call to be with you. That's how excited I am about a new season of the podcast.
Oh my gosh, Jeff. No, we can't compete. We're not ready for Jeff.
No.
You've been waiting all summer to say that, haven't you?
What do you mean you can't compete? No one even reacted to that.
Who's second gentleman? Whatever the fuck.
So he was on the phone with Kamala Harris's husband. And
they're calling him the second gentleman? Like he's going to be like the first lady?
Right.
He's the second gentleman.
He's the second gentleman. Gay. And for some reason, Jeff Heisen was talking to him on the phone and said, I got to go, man. I got to do Tom Meyer's podcast. And it was so poorly written and executed that everyone went, okay, was that true? Or
Right. They're wondering.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Do you think Tom writes their zingers? Because that felt red. I think Tom writes what they're for them to say.
Oh, that would be an interesting thing to ask Jeff Heisen. Now there's all conspiracies going everywhere. It's just the Howard Stern segment. We're going, wait a second.
AI type thing.
Yeah, right.
It's like Jeff,
right. Is anyone writing
Jeff
anything?
would say this.
Yes.
And Kitty would say this.
Is anyone writing anything for each other anymore?
Because the response of I can't compete is like what Robin was saying. That's terrible. Like it doesn't really fit, but it's there.
You're right. That
like AI.
The reaction is how you'd react to something that was funny. Oh, Jeff, we can't compete with that kind of humor. And it's like, well, no, he just bombed. So you're right. That is how AI would respond to that. It's not connected at all.
You know what? I can't compete with bombing either. It's very hard. So it's
difficult. Well, Jeff, so this is another joke that Tom has prepared. And Jeff's reaction to this, he loves this joke.
There is a lot at stake this year. If this country reelects Donald Trump, then the world will be in shock. So much in shock that Great Britain has promised to retaliate by sending back Piers Morgan.
The world will be in shock, so much in shock that Great Britain will retaliate by sending us Piers Morgan.
But wait,
What does
I
that
thought we
mean?
had Piers Morgan right now.
No, I think Piers
Yeah.
Morgan is in the UK on that.
Is he bad? But he does do a lot of things in America still.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, why would they send him back?
Why would being in shock impose a retaliation? Like these
Well,
things.
you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this. I better give you Piers Morgan until I can figure this out.
Also, Trump was already elected president, and I think that was actually quite shocking for people.
Yes.
If he was elected
Yeah.
this time, I don't think it would be that surprised. He'd be like,
Well,
yeah.
I don't know if you know, back then when Trump won the presidency, they sent us Idris Elba. Like that was a different thing they sent us. And
Yes.
then now
I forgot
we get a
about
different
that.
English guy. Yeah,
They
that was the big
They actually
Idris
did
Elba
send a
trade.
Spice Girl to us. I'm pretty
Yes.
sure that is a real
It
thing.
was a
that
Mel B and a player to be named later was involved in the trade.
Again, punching up his jokes for him.
Yeah, we both just killed it on his joke.
All right, so Abby Mello is a longtime co-host on this show. I have some really bad news for you, but then you're going to hear some really good news.
With Abby Mello not only retiring from this podcast, but also from comedy, I am the closest thing the Baltimore, D.C. comedy community has to being a doctor.
Abby Mello retired from comedy. Can you retire from something if you don't make any money from it?
I make that joke to people every time they tell me they're quitting. I'm like, you've never been paid. You can't quit. You're
You
just
can't
leaving.
quit. You're right.
You're just not going to show up here anymore.
I retired from basketball many years ago. I don't know if you guys knew that. Anyway, so moving on. Go ahead.
No, but real quick. So again, that joke is about the Baltimore open mic scene.
Yes. You get it?
I mean, but is that who's listening? He's doing a political show for the Baltimore open mic
He doesn't
scene?
know. He doesn't know. I don't know. He doesn't know. We don't know. It's impossible to tell.
That's his demographic. That hopefully the Abbey fans are listening.
But then right after he talks about Abby retiring, which is a bummer, here's the good news.
And with that terrifying note, it's time to bring on our guest. Please join me in welcoming to the show retired Army Major, former state senator, former congressional candidate, former presidential candidate, and podcast host, Richard Ojeda.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, guys.
Richard Ojeda is a guest on Tom Myers versus the Rest of the World, and why wouldn't he be? That's very exciting. Tom even says, I check out your podcast all the time. I'm a big fan. And my initial plan was to break down this interview, but of course, with everything Richard Ojeda, it's impossible.
Right.
Because it's just Trump's the worst, Trump's a liar. Yeah, okay, we get it. But I do have one more clip on here because Tom has an actual celebrity on his show. He's not used to this. Richard Ojeda is on his show. If you don't know this, Richard Ojeda was on Bill Maher's show on HBO. That's as big as Tom's going to get. And you can tell he's very nervous.
What is this? So I
Tom
noticed
wants
that
to be Bill Maher. That you can tell.
Yes.
That's Tom's hero.
That's his idol. So the
Completely.
fact that Richard was on that show and now he's on Tom's show. So listen to this guy stammering here.
What is this? So I noticed that there's a lot of that going on, especially with especially with some.
Oh, I don't hear Tom do that very
Oh
often.
man.
That's rough right there. And he does edit these shows. Because there was another 17 minutes that weren't part of this show that he put out on YouTube that were more of this interview with Richard Ojeda. So I think he was a little overwhelmed.
He's a nervous girl. Like he is. He's smitten.
Yes, for sure. You could tell right there.
What's Bill like?
Did you smell him?
Did you smell?